Welcome back, everybody. My name's APrater54, aka Adam, coach in Mid-Chesney Park Slowpokes, and today I bring you the draft analysis for the Booster Pack Division, aka Booster League in the TGR. The way this season works is we draft 24 Pokemon, but it is from booster packs. There's going to be 10 Mons. I believe it's either 8 or 10 when a booster pack starts. Actually, no. It's 10 when a booster pack starts, and it goes down to where there's the last few cards remaining. So sometimes you have to pick 2 from the same pack, or 1 from a pack just in general. It depends on how you're slotted. They separated us into pools of 5. So each one of us will pick from a pack, which is also randomized, your pick order from each pack, and then pass to the next person. So forth, so forth, so forth. And then you'll just keep picking until you have 24 Mons. But what makes this interesting is you can't be sniped. You have to gamble risking a piece for a more valuable piece if you're the first one to pick. There's no chance something comes back to you. But what makes this so cool is each week you declare 12 of those Pokemon for you to use that week. You split them into 2 teams of 6, and you have to have 12 different items across each one. But say it goes to a game 3, you both have to use the team you lose with. So you have to get a win with both versions of your team. So that's going to make things incredibly interesting. There's no points involved. There's nothing. There is no power creep. This is all luck based. So we started out in a very, very interesting way. The way this is going to break down is I'm going to show you the pack. I'm going to deliberate a little bit. Like for this one, we got Toxtricity, we got Flamigo, Alolan Executor, Executor, Slowbro, Galar, Alolan Golem, Clawitzer, Malamar, and Alolan Raichu. I will be honest, it was incredibly hard choosing between Glowbro and Toxtricity, but I ended up going Toxtricity. Oh, and we cannot tear in this format. There is Sleep Cloud, so we can only put 1 Mana Sleep, and 1 hit KO moves are banned. Anything else is VGC regular rules. So, we're going to see how that goes. But Toxtricity round 1, being able to spam Discharge, Overdrive into my opponent, being able to spam Hyper Voice, Boom Burst, Snarl, and force them to run Wide Guard, I'll take. And having strong electric and poison type offense is incredibly good. Punk Rock is incredibly strong. This even gets access to T-Spikes, which is incredibly good when the format is 6v6 doubles. So we use the entire team. So hazards actually can play a factor. So can moves like Toxic or being able to Volt Switch out, which this Mon can do pretty freely. This also gets access to Sludge Wave as well. All in all, very good Mon. This is the first pick. Next, we are going to go on into the next pack. By the time it got to me, these were the options left. This had me wondering, what the heck went first in this pack that they let Pecharunt, Lucario, and Rhyperior go, and left Meowstic there? So it got me thinking, I can't go wrong here with a solid, consistent thing I've been using in VGC as well as singles, so I went Rhyperior. That's why he popped up over here at first. There is no deliberation. Had I not taken a poison type first round, I would have taken Pecharunt. So all in all, not a bad Mon. Hits incredibly hard, incredibly bulky defensive-wise, speed-up-wise, a little frail, but a trick room monster. By the time you see the end of this team, you're going to see several modes that this thing can do. The team in general. But all in all, that is Rhyperior. We're going to hide that one. Next, it got to me. These weren't some very good options at all. There's no way in hell, even with Toxic Chain, as I take in Monkey Dory, or aka Trash Dory, even with Sludge Wave giving me a chance to poison my own ally, no. Granted, you get Fake Out, cool. So does Grafire. So does Ambipom. But what the issue is there are some mons with Intimidate in this format, there are some with Parting Shot, and there are some that just lower stats with Bulldoze or Icy Wind. In comes my round 3, which is Pitsimian. So we have Defiant and we have Receiver. If the mon next to me faints, I get its ability. Okay, I'll take that. Granted, I've never really used this thing. There's not a lot of Defiant mons besides this one in this format. I believe Zapdos, Galar, Bisharp, and a few things were banned. Actually, no, Bisharp is allowed. I know another team has it, but that's about it. I think Primeape was also very rare to pull in packs, so we'll see how it goes. In pack number 4, this is where it got interesting. There are options, but in a 6v6 format, when the only thing realistically stopping you is limited fairies, limited steals, and you see a low kicks with first impression, you get the low kicks with first impression. It's so valuable in this, it forces things out, and you're able to sucker punch spam through tinted lens on everything. You take that. I was so close to taking Skull Villain, so close to taking Lilligant Hisui, but I opted not to. But you have you pop up since I talked about you. But that, and I also love this thing's shiny. I wish it would have kept the same gold as the Nimble, but beggars can't be choosers. Because the black on the bronze gold is kind of clean on this, and it looks a lot better in game than it does here. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, this has Feint to break Wide Guard and Protect, as long as I don't bring the improper build, which you'll see later, to stop everything I'm trying to do. But that is low kicks. We're going to hop on into that. Pick 5 had some interesting options, but there is one that stood out above the others, and I'm going to face the allegations. We have Typhlosion. Eruption is incredibly strong in this nerf format because a lot of the Paradox mons are banned, Pulse banned, a lot of the heavy hitters are just gone. Caldio's gone, I believe. There's a few others, like all the powerhouses are gone, like Quackable, Skeletors, a few others. I'd have to look on Skeletors, I can't remember if it's there or not. But we basically power creeped and we took all the babies out except for like Riolu. So this having its speed stat that it does, decent special attack, and spamming Eruption forcing Wide Guard, really good. If Typhlosion was not here, I would have taken the Torterra for Wide Guard. Next, this is where it gets interesting. I will say now, what I chose here does not stay. There's something I get immediately later on in the draft that is foreshadowing that changes the entire dynamic of this team. But we took a Lowland Eggy here because I wanted to use my legit shiny that I caught in game. I have like 5 of them. Don't ask. I got like Heracross, 3 of the regular Eggies, and 5 of this freaking thing as soon as I went to the Savannah and Coastal Biome. I don't know why. And it's dumb. Oh, I got Heracross and Kitakami, like, immediately. Like, as soon as you got to the area where it spawns, it was there. And then this guy, I had 3 of them pop up in one spot. So I'm like, I'm going to catch all of them. Granted, Fire Dragon, Grass Dragon isn't the worst in the world, but being that times 4 weak to ice, where there's a lot of the lower tier creeps do have ice coverage, is incredibly risky. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. But Alolan Iggy offers me Trick Room, offers me Flamethrower, gives me Dragon Hammer, Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor, quite a bit. Even gives me access to Harvest and Frisk so I can see your items. But beggars can't be choosers. Next. Alright, so I didn't want any of these, so I tossed up and I kept Poltergeist. The reason why I kept Poltergeist is it gets ally switch. Weak armor is incredibly decent on it. Especially if I'm able to outspeed, hit like bullet speed into this. Chunk, 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 and then fire off a huge stored power that my opponent can't take. Oh no, I'll take it. Even 2 hits on weak armor is enough. But not bad, not bad. This also gives me access to Shelf Smash if I ally switch next to another person, or if I'm able to just say Eruption next to this thing, if they have to focus the Typhlosion, I can Shell Smash in their face and then just blow over the top. I'm still waiting for the day where they make a Ghost type move that hits both opponents. I would love to see that. Like if we got like, I don't know, I can't remember if Ominous Wind hit both opponents, but we'll see. Maybe Gen 10 will surprise us. But Poltergeist being here is definitely interesting. It's incredibly frail, so it's always going to be situational when it comes. But I'll take it. Alright, so this is from the same pack that had the Grafaiai, had a few of the other guys. I wasn't going to just let Slacking go to the on-pick pool, which people can take from at the end of draft. We get 3 Grace Trades and 5 Seasonals. Anybody in our pool could pick this up, especially if they have Wheezing or Grafaiai, which, fun fact, Wheezing was first in that pick before Toxtricity went to me, if I remember right. If I'd have to double check the chart. But that explains a lot. They gambled that just to see if Slacking was in here. But this monstrosity with Truant is its only handicap. But I'll take it. All in all, still hits pretty hard. I might offer this as a trade later on post-draft, depending on if the Weezing or the Grafaiai team need it, just so I can make a power move. Which, that's valuable to have. I can make it to where I can get a trade. Next, I was ecstatic. I was first to pick from this group. I didn't care about anything else. I got Indeedee male because female is banned in this format. Being able to spam size spam and have access to Trick Room is amazing. This is the more offensive version. 95 speed is nothing to scuff at. And you just hammer things. That, and if I get anything else that has expanding force, it is good. Typhlosion can spam Eruption without having to worry about priority. Incredibly good. And if I get an Unburdened Mon later, I can trigger it. It's as simple as that. This stops Mach Punch, this stops Fake Out, you name it. That's what it's there for. And it has access, I believe, to Baton Pass to where it can just swap itself out. Okay, bring a target in, avoid taking a hit. I'll take it. Can't remember if it was this one or the female that gets Healing Wish, but either way, does not matter at all. Next, we hop on into this interesting pack. Alright, so my options that were actually decent in this pack were Chestnut, Ursaring, Jumpluff, and Pheasantipity. I did not want anything else. I did not even notice that Abomasnow was here. That's how little I cared. But the only other thing that caught my eye was the incredibly adorable Flareon card. Unfortunately, with Terra being banned in this, I can't run Terra Grass Flame Orb and spam Facade without taking minimal damage. So this was a toss-up round for me. I ended up taking Pheasantipity because it gets access to Beat Up, gets access to Toxic Chain, and spamming Dazzling Gleam with double chance to poison is incredibly good. Spamming, I think it gets Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave, and it gets access to Roost, which unfortunately I can't pass, but it also gets access to Screens. So I took Fez just for a slight filler, and we are gonna rock with it. I don't know if I'm going to keep Fez because I really don't like having poison types on my VGC teams. I know, I'm weird. But Fez is there, it's going to do its job, it's going to try and help the team. But here's where things get spicy. You know how I mentioned Expanding Force. What is one of the best abusers of E-Force? Hatterene. Being able to stop my opponent from bouncing things into me, stopping them from clicking taunts, and being able to Trick Room is amazing, especially in Psychic terrain. So I can get Trick Room for free unless they nuke me, which is insanity. Then be able to spam E-Force, Dazzling Gleam, Draining Kiss, Mystical Fire, Psyshock, Giga Drain, nuzzle my opponent down is just ridiculous. I'll take it. This thing hits super hard. Paired with the Indeedee can be somewhat of a nuke. So now I have 2 Psychic types and I have 2 Fairies. So this is shaping up to be incredibly interesting. And then we get into Pack 12. Had I noticed the Abomasnow sooner and even considered it and maybe gambled, I could have gotten the Sea Titan. But you cannot pass up a Mamoswine when you see a Mamoswine. Being able to just pick off anything with Ice Shard is just massive. Grounded Ice is so hard to switch into. This thing next to Toxtricity, spam Discharge, spam Earthquake or Rock Slide or Icicle Crash and just hammer your opponent, and even Icy Wind. It's just phenomenal. Being immune to Intimidate, can't be taunted, and even gets access to Thick Fat. It's incredibly good. I will take Mamoswine any day. And like, this is one of the mons that people considered asking me for, but they knew I would not even consider it. So yeah, we're gonna roll with that. And then this one. At this point, like about maybe I think it was Poltergeist going forward. Phoenix got curious on what my cards were, so I just started showing him, and I didn't expect him to give me advice on what to take. He was just curious on what we were getting. Gave me a few inputs on a few things I was stuck on, which I greatly appreciate. Because had he not mentioned, like, Spiritomb getting all the support it does, I would have taken Crawdon here, or worse, Toadscroll, for a Spore in a Sleep Claws League. But this thing access to Trick Room now, gets access to Wisp, Toxic, gets access to Shadow Sneak, gets access to Ally Switch, which is absolutely amazing. Being able to swap yourself around and then fire off a huge hit, like say they double target my Typhlosion, I can Ally Switch Eruption all over top of them, and then this thing can sponge both hits if I'm lucky. This thing's incredibly bulky. I look forward to seeing what this thing can do as far as support-wise, and I believe it gets screens as well. But almost Spiritomb's not a bad bond. I want to see what it does in doubles. Next, it got interesting again. These same packs made it back to me, and Gardevoir was there. And you have no idea how tempting it was to take this Gardevoir. But I didn't have a water type at this point, and I was starting to feel nervous about it because they have not been showing up, period. So I ended up taking Vaporeon. And when I took it, I put the copy-paste, and somebody actually posted the copy-paste in my roster thing, and people freaking out to it, which was hilarious. But Vaporeon, having access to Scald, having access to Icy Wind, it's incredibly good. Access to Flip Turn to be able to phase out, I'll take. Especially Wish and Flip Turn. Being able to heal up by things in the back. Say I want to run a weakness policy mon. Wish, flip out into it, sponge the hit, get the policy, then get the healing back, and just be able to cook. I'll take. Oh no, pretty good mon. I did at one point in Grace consider getting rid of this one, but it was close call between this and another mon that I traded to Patmac. And we will move on into pick this. So this made it back. Jumpluff gets Rage Powder. Jumpluff gets fast Sleep Powder. Fast Tailwind, fast Screens, you name it. Not bad. Rage Powder makes everything go into it, allowing me to protect them on. But say I'm able to get the fast Sleep Powder off and they're not Lumberry, Chesto, or Safety Goggles, something goes to sleep. And if it's an immediate target that kills me, I'm fine. That and this thing gets access to Acrobatics, gets access to Cotton Guard, gets access to quite a few things, gets access to Worry Seed, which is the main reason why I got it, is to take Slacking's Truant away, allowing me to fire off. And I believe I get After You as well, so I can make it to where something goes first. Okay, I'll take it. And then we move on into pick number 16. Well, I had to take the better of everything here. I wasn't going to take a Venomoth and wasn't going to take a Heracross times 4 week to flying. So I took Swampert, which is times 4 week to grass. And this definitely got interesting. This is the mon I ended up trading instead of Vaporeon, and you'll see that later in Grace. But it gets interesting pretty quick. This was my sole wide guard mon and the whole reason why it was there. But it is what it is. Next, we got Sylveon. I didn't care about anything else here. I didn't care that there was Florges. I didn't care there was a Zoroark. I didn't care there was a Mudstale. There was a Sylveon with Hyper Voice with limited Steel types in this format and limited fires. I am just going to spam the yell. It's as simple as that. There are so many Dark types in this format, so many fighting types, so many dragons. You just spam Hyper Voice and you go roar. This next expanding force makes it to where dark types are impossible to switch into block E-Force, unless they are steel and dark, like Bisharp. Oh no, that is a phenomenal thing to have. And then we get the interesting thing. We were all left wondering what was taken first. What possibly could have been better than the Cerulege and the Iron Treads was here? Apparently it was Kingdra. Why a Kingdra went before the other two, I don't know. But in this format, where it is incredibly hard to have a not only reliable, but an offensive Ghost that isn't support, and an offensive Fire, Ghost Fire is hard to switch into. you always take a Cerulege. Then having access to Flash Fire and Weak Armor is incredibly good. Incredibly good. I can't remember if, say, you run Bulldoze or something that hits your own side, if that triggers your own weakness policy, or if it triggers my Weak Armor. I think it has to be my opponent's. Let's say if Bulldoze triggers my Weak Armor, I get a weakness policy off, and then I'm able to just launch off a massive Bitter Blade that one-hit KOs an opponent. I'll take it. Granted, Terra is better on Cerulege than no Terra. We'll figure it out. But I was ecstatic to get this one. Fun fact, every single person in my pool wanted this thing post-draft. Brave I'd offering a few things. Niels wanted to give me a lot of different stuff for Cerulege. Pat Mac even wanted it, and the only one that didn't offer me anything for it actually was Stone Storm VGC, who I actually ended up trading 3 Pokemon with. We'll get into that later on. But that is that round, and then we have pick 19. Alright. You see all these things here, and you're like, oh, sweet, there's a Klefki. But then, when you see a Prim in this format, you take a Prim. Because Hyper Voice, Liquid Voice hits both sides. And you just cook. So now not only do I pick Slate Sylveon, but I have Liquid Voice Primarina, which is ridiculous. Psychic Noise into Dark types, turning into a Water type move to prevent them from healing. It's just gross. Being able to bypass sub and do damage. So good. And granted, I have a lot of fairies right now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 fairies. That's a lot. I'm hoarding all the fairies that are good in this format, which is just ridiculous. Because a lot of things don't have answer to fairy. Because there's limited steals, limited fire types. But we're going to cook. We are definitely going to cook. We're going to let her pop up here for a little bit. It was tempting to take the Klefki though and the Porygon Z, but we're going to let somebody else have those. Next, I got blessed. There was absolutely no goddamn hesitation here. You see a Ninetales, you have Typhlosion, you have a Alolan Eggy, you have Cerulege. You take the Ninetales. Oh, fun fact. Because I was last to choose from that pack that had the Alolan Eggy, I know it's there in Grace. So you know what I'm doing immediately? I am dropping a Alolan Eggy for a Kanto Eggy, and now I have Chlorophyll and Sun with expanding Force. Have fun. I am going to be incredibly annoying. And then you got Jump Muff and Sun. You've got Weather Ball, Vaporeon, Primarina. You've got Weather Ball. Nope, that's about it for now. It gets spicy. You think this team is good before Grace? Wait until you see what was cooked after. But this thing, having access to Healing Wish, having access to Baton Pass, access to Memento, access to Solar Beam, Heat Wave, Will-O-Wisp, yeah, it's gonna cook. Being able to get yourself out of there and not care is absolutely amazing. And then I got blessed again. Uni! I didn't care about the Komoro or the Empoleon. I didn't need a 5th water type. I wanted Uni the bus. Having to answer to all of the Intimidators in the format. It's absolutely amazing. And then having +2 special attack for free come from that, I will take. Having a fast Tailwind setter, I will take. And being able to spam Discharge or have an electric immunity and Voltage Orb, I'll take hands down. You want to swing into one of my water types and I swap Uni in, you're getting stopped by Voltazorb. I'll take it. Granted, oh yeah, and this gets Weather Ball too. Steel types are not safe in front of me and Sun. Let's wrap our heads around that. That is absolutely amazing to have. Alright, and we are going to hop on into pick number 22. We're almost done. And then we will go into trades after that. I'm going to cut away and set that up, and you guys will see what all happened. Alright. So this same pack made it to me, and I was like, do I want another fire-ending type, or do I want a fourth water? Well, when you get a Tauros Aqua breed that gets access to Aqua Jet, access to Intimidate, access to Shattering Screens, and Raging Bull, yeah, you take it. Granted, I get nerfed to my own Sun with this, but it's fine. Having a fighting type that blows through the Psychic Terrain answers is incredibly good to have. I'll take it. So there's more physical attackers in this nerf format than there are special, so having Intimidate is valuable. At least one. So I look forward to seeing what the Water Bolt can do, and we are going to hop on into my filler picks. I'm not keeping either of these. When you have to choose between a Lantern and 3 rock types, when you already have a Rhyperior, I took Regirock here. I didn't want a 5th water type and a 3rd electric type, so I took Regirock just to have a rock type. Spoiler alert, Regirock does not stay. He is one of the first things gone. Yeah, you'll see what he goes for. I couldn't even remember if this thing got wide guard. Really, it was there for its bulk, being able to set stealth rocks, and that's about it. And then I goofed. I completely did not see, like I pointed out the Mabostiff art was cute, and in my head I thought, hey, no, that thing's a normal type. Mabostiff's fucking duck. I am an idiot. So I grabbed Blissey instead, and Mabostiff was like the first thing picked up in Grace. So I ended up Blissey with Serene Grace for the Spadef bulk and all the random crap it does. But she doesn't stay. She's gone immediately. But that wraps up the team. We will discuss the trades in a second. Alright, we're back for the trades part of this, and spoiler alert, I used all 3 Grace and all 3 season trades before the first week of the season, but to start things off, we ended up dropping Regirock for Lycanroc Dusk. Why not get a fast rock type with a Cell Rock priority, with access to Sucker Punch as well, and I believe Quick Attack, to be able to smack into things. Tough Claws is a drug. I don't know if Rock Slide and Stone Edge are Tough Claw boosted. I think Stone Edge is for sure, but not 100% sure. But anything that makes Contact's going to get boosted, so it makes it so much better, and it gives me a speed tier that I need, and I'll take. This allows me to answer a lot of different things, especially dark types or steel types with CC. I'll take it. Next, we dropped Blissey for Skarmory. Desperately needed a steel type. I got one. Alright, so this allows me to get spikes and rocks, which can be beneficial in this type of 6v6 format. Gives me access to Roost Rocky Helmet, gives me access to Tailwind, gives me access to Iron Defense Body Press, and just being able to smack things. And I believe I get Roar as well. It's either Roar or Whirlwind. Being able to stop Trick Room, I'll take it. Granted, it's going to be a support mount instead of full offensive, which is what Blissey was going to be anyways. But hey, I'm glad to have a steal. And then what I mentioned before, We immediately dropped Alolan Eggy for Eggy. I did this without looking to see what was left in Grace. I kind of jumped the gun because Species Clause was a thing, so I wouldn't have been able to have both. Actually, no, it wasn't a thing. So, had I looked and saw that there was no dragons left on the Grace board, I would have kept this, and I would have dropped something else for Eggy and had both. But it is what it is. We'll make the best of it. This gives me access to Sleep Powder, gives me access to Expanding Force, access, unfortunately, to no Weather Ball, which is fine. You're going to spend E-Force anyways. Life Orb hits like a truck with Solar Beam. It even gets access to Earthquake to hit opposing fire types. All in all, I'll take it. And it's nothing to scuff at. 125 special attack and 95 attack is nothing to scuff at. Especially after a growth. And then we are going to get into something interesting. Alright, so I saw after the pools were done that somebody had extra steel types, and they had something I really, really wanted. So I reached out to them and I was like, is there anything you would want from me? And they immediately hit me up with, do you want anything for Festivity and Passimian? I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take it. What were you wanting from me? If you don't need it, Scovillian and Registeel, because they had 3 steel types and they didn't really need the Scovillian. They had no way of setting Sun outside of manual. So they actually powered my offense up a lot. Scovillian hits so hard. You think a Eruption hits hard from the Typhlosion? Imagine a Life Orb Flamethrower from this thing just absolutely nuking you. And you have Solar Beam as well. And Spicy Extract to get free Mirror Burst boosts on one of my allies that'll copy the stats and then freaking swing in is just amazing. All in all, I can't complain with this trade at all. It worked out very, very good. But before that one went in was another interesting trade. My first trade after the Grace ones got hecka interesting. So, Brave had the Graphia. So, I traded him Slacking for Lilligant Hisui. I have a fighting type and a grass type that gets chlorophyll in Sun, able to counteract anything that wants to stop me spamming Eruption, and just hammer. I believe this also gets access to Sleep Powder, access to Triple Axle, Ice Spinner, access to Acrobatics, you name it. Access to Victory Dance, access to After You to make something that's slow next to me go first, is amazing. This next to Hatterene, if the sun's up, I click After You, and if terrain's up, Hatterene gets the fastest expanding force alive, which is absolutely amazing. Everything's high powered, everything is strong, and I will take it. And the last thing we did is, after a while and him asking about it a few times, I traded Brave Swampert for Lucario because I had 4 water types. And I was like, okay, I'll take another Steel. That's fine. I'll take an offensive one. And then I realized, you know what? I got rid of all my beat-up setters. You want to know what my beat-up setters were? Passimian and Pheasantipity. So I can't activate Justified. But do you know who could? Stone Storm. Stone Storm had Iron Leaves. He had 5 Psychic types. And I was like, I'm not going to take your Goth, I'm not going to take your Malamar or any of your glue pieces. Do you need Iron Leaves? And he's like, no, I'll take a deal for Lucario. Give me an offensive steal back. Okay. Then he really needed another fighting type. So now I have Iron Leaves with booster attack in Psychic terrain, clicking Psyblade, which it's just going to do like 10% damage, less damage than in electric terrain, which I'll take. That, and if my opponent sets electric terrain, I get another booster if I'm not stirred up, which is amazing, because Pincurchin is in this format. So I look forward to this and what I get to do when I face Perry week 1. It's going to be a challenge getting around Perry's 4 wide guard mons, especially with Eruption, Heat Wave, all my multi-hit moves. But at the end of the day, you cannot complain when you get a team this strong. And I am very flexible with the 12 I bring every week. I do not have to force myself into Sun. I don't have to force myself into Rain. I can do balanced and predict what my opponent has or what their 12 they are going to bring. And we're going to let it rip. I have the right amount of bulk. I have the right amount of offense. I have the right amount of support. And quite frankly, the before and after this team is ridiculous. It was strong before the trades. Now it's just a nightmare after. But anyways, hopefully you like the team, and look forward to week 1. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and enjoy your day.